The question that came up tonight is about stress. Last night we spoke about anxiety in social situations, anxiety in so many other situations. And today someone asked, well, what about just generalized stress in our lives? How do we stop being so stressed? And so I wanted to take that before we go on to a new topic. First of all, it was wonderful to hear that people even realize that stress is a problem. Because stress has become something that is so commonplace that most of us actually forget it's not the natural way of being. I remember when I had been in India just a few months, and I went back to America, and I went straight from the airport to go visit my grandmother. She was not well, and I hadn't seen her, and I wanted to go see her. And I spent with her maybe a good couple of hours. We had a beautiful talk about my trip to India, what it had been like. And when I left her and I went to go back to drive home, along the way, my uncle called. And he said, I heard about your visit. And he had this kind of laughing tone in his voice. And I said, my uncle and I have always been very close. And I said, what happened? And evidently, after I left my grandmother's, she had called my uncle, her son, and had said something is very wrong. And naturally, my uncle was worried. My whole family was ready to, hear that I had been brainwashed or kidnapped or had joined a cult or, all of the things that families fear. And so my uncle was very worried and said, what do you mean? What happened? And my grandmother said to him, well, she looked okay. And my uncle said, well, okay, then what was the problem? My grandma said, well, she looked all right, but something was not right. And my uncle said, well, Mom, what was it? What was it? And finally, my grandmother blurts out, she was just happy all the time. And I love this story. I share it. It's a word-for-word true story, unembellished. What I love about that is that if I had spent the couple of hours with my grandmother, checking my watch every 2 minutes, pulling my hair about, oh my God, the things I have to do, the decisions I have to make, what's going to happen to my life, I really want to live in India, and I had turned the whole thing into a stressful situation, that would have been very normal. She would have told my uncle, everything is fine, everything is perfect, yeah, maybe a little jet lagged, otherwise she's great. But the absence of stress is what has become abnormal. And so the first piece of the answer is just congratulations to even recognize that being stressed is not our natural way, that it actually is something to be overcome. The next piece of it, though, is to understand, as we've been talking over these nights, about why we get stressed. And the bottom line is because we have, as Puja Swamiji says, expectations. And as he says, expectations are the mother of frustration. Now, with stress, what happens is we have a very, very clear idea of what we want, whether it's from the universe, how the weather should behave. For example, I have an outdoors wedding planned tomorrow. It better not rain. Whether it's what we want from our employees, they better do exactly what I tell them, exactly in the way that I want it done. And if I haven't told them, well, they better be able to read my mind and intuit how I want it done. They better treat me with respect, whether I'm right or wrong. With our loved ones, we have expectations about how they should treat us, how they should act, how they should speak. We have expectations about God. If we are good people and we pray and we do chanting and we do all of the things that we're supposed to do, only good things should happen to us. No one we love should get sick or die. We certainly shouldn't get sick or die. Whatever we do, we should succeed in it. So everywhere in our life, we have these expectations. And from those is what brings stress. And so the way not to have stress is to understand that the universe is not a vending machine. It's not as easy as we put something in and what we want comes out. In a vending machine, you stick in $1 bill or however many rupees a chocolate bar costs, and you push the button for chocolate bar, and it comes out. And if you put in the money and you push the button and it doesn't come out, well, you understand the machine is broken. Depending on your temperament, maybe you kick it, maybe you shake it, maybe you try again. Maybe you just go to a new machine. But in life, we can't use the same model. Just because the universe or God or my guru didn't give me what I want doesn't mean I've got the wrong mantra or the wrong prayer or the wrong temple that I'm going to. Just because people around us don't act how we want them to, doesn't mean that there's something wrong. This is what we talk about, the karmic package. And this is really where we ended up last night that led into this question, which is the only thing we have control over is our own selves and our own reactions. A very, very beautiful saint once said that the only definition of success is how I respond to the inevitable times that the universe does not act in the way I think it should. If that becomes our model of success, it's not about how much fame or accolades or money or success a particular program or project or idea gets. It's not about whether I'm Miss Universe or Mr. Universe. It's not about how many things go my way. It's about how I respond to the inevitable times. That's worth repeating. Inevitable times. Doesn't matter how many malas we do. Doesn't matter what good people we are. It is inevitable that there will be times that the universe does not act the way that we wanted it to. And how we respond. And recognize that we are the only ones we have control over. Only my reaction. And this is where you get that journey from stress management to what Puja Swamiji calls self-management. It's no longer about how do I manage my stress. It's about how do I manage myself so that as I move through the universe, I don't experience the stress. And the most important way is to stop trying to control the world around us. To stop expecting people, the weather, God, the stock market, interest rates, the traffic, whatever it is, to go our way. But that's what most of us do. And you think about an example I give frequently on this is, most of us love the summer. Summer changes into winter inevitably. As summer starts to change into winter, we have only two options. Option one is we say, oh, it was a great summer, I loved it. Let's get ready for winter. We pull out the winter clothes. We shift our mind from swimming to skiing. Or we can fight it and pretend as though we had even one iota of control over that change. And you can wear your bikini into December, but it's not going to make the snow stop falling. It's just going to give you pneumonia. There's no weather pattern that changes. Kids all over the world, as long as there has been school, kids have mourned the end of summer break. Kids have cried, kids have had temper tantrums, kids have locked themselves in their room. It doesn't change summer from leaving. It doesn't give you another week of summer. And so the way to approach that in our lives is to understand that we are the only ones we have control over. And that brings me to the last point that I wanted to make about this, is that most of our mental state is a reflection of the world around us. People are nice to us, we're happy. People are polite and respectful, we're happy. And we're nice to them. What we want happens, we're happy. Flip it around. People are not nice to us, we're no longer happy. And we're no longer nice to them in most cases. What that means is that my inner being, what we call the swasthiti, the situation internally, the situation of myself, is determined based on the paristiti, the situation outside of me. And this is what leads to disaster. But it also works the other way. It's not just that we have to lock ourselves up from the outer world. That's not the answer. We're connected. We're connected to the people around us, connected to the world around us. So the solution becomes, instead of just being a receiver, as is the paristiti, the world outside, so is my swasthiti. Instead of that, how can I have such a peaceful, joyful, grounded inner being, swasthiti, that I actually change through? Not my yelling, not my screaming, not my micromanagement, not my sulking, but simply through the energetic frequency of who I am, the world around me. And that's the way that we deal with stress. And the very last point on this is that when things happen in our lives, because they do, what most of us do is we hold a grudge. Somebody hurts us, somebody's mean to us, knowingly or unknowingly. We hold a grudge. We expect them to do something to make it better. And until and unless they do, well, I am angry. You better get back here and fix this situation. Say you're sorry, take care of it, clean up your mess. Imagine for a moment that at your home, someone comes over, you make them a cup of tea or coffee, and sitting on a nice white couch like these ones, they spill it. Now pretend your white couch is new. They spill it. And then they have the audacity to stand up and leave. Okay, so you've done everything right. You were a good host. You went in, you personally made them a cup of tea or coffee, you brought it to them. Not only did they spill that on your new white couch, but they had the thoughtlessness to then stand up and leave. Now, what are you going to do? What are we going to do? Anybody? Clean the couch. Anybody going to wait for them to come back and clean the couch? Because we understand this is my couch. I'm the one who has to see this couch every day. I'm the one who has to sit on it. Yes, they were rude, fine, but my priority is getting the stain out of my couch because it's my couch in my house. Now, when someone does that to our heart, it's our heart. We have to live with it. And expecting someone to fix what they have done, knowingly or unknowingly, purposely or accidentally, the stain that they've put on our heart, on our lives, and holding on to that grudge until they get back here and properly apologize or make it up to me, is as silly as waiting for them to come back and clean the coffee stain off the couch. So we clean our stains as quickly as we can before they stain. So as we're moving through the world, the minute something happens that is a provoker of stress, let our first reaction be to just see it as a stain on our couch and figure out, how can I get that stain out? Oh my God, I'm angry. How can I clean it? Oh my God, I'm stressed. I'm upset. How can I clean it? Oh my God, I'm furious, vengeful, disappointed. How can I clean it? Doesn't mean that they were right to have done it. But what it means is that my couch, my heart, is much more important to me than what that person owes me, or how sensitive or insensitive it was for them to spill that beautiful hot cup of coffee on my couch. My priority is to clean it. And if we make that our priority, then life becomes much more selfly managed. It's not that we don't go up and down. The world still does, but as Pujya Swamiji says, things go up and down, but we don't go up and down with them.